In Texas, two men named Roy and Lucas are secretly keeping a young boy named Alton hidden with them in a motel room. It's soon revealed that Lucas is actually a police officer, and he's helped Roy abduct the child. They quickly pack up to leave after seeing their photos broadcast on the news. With no choice, they flee the hotel and the surrounding area. As they drive away, the motel receptionist sees them leaving. She's also watching the news, which confirms her suspicion, prompting her to call the police. She gives dispatch their license plate number. Soon after, Roy and Lucas hear the alert about their vehicle over the radio. Lucas begins to panic, but he veers off their planned route and successfully avoids being caught. Meanwhile, a man named Calvin is shown in his office. He runs a religious group and charity called The Ranch. We learn that Calvin is Alton's adoptive father and reported him missing. Seeing the news only heightens his concern. Determined to find Alton before authorities do, Calvin gives orders to one of his men, Doak. He tells Doak they have just 4 days to locate the boy. Calvin then walks into a meeting hall. It's filled with followers gathered to hear his usual sermon. But their gathering is interrupted by federal agents, who suddenly raid the room. Everyone from Calvin to the followers is detained. They're loaded onto buses and transported to a schoolyard, since the group is too large to hold elsewhere. Elsewhere, Roy and Lucas are still on the move. They come upon a vehicle stopped in the middle of the road. Lucas swerves to avoid a collision. Suddenly, a second vehicle crashes into the one on the road. Lucas rushes out to help. He discovers a woman injured in one of the vehicles. Just then, a patrol car pulls up unexpectedly. The officer steps out and prepares to assist. Lucas urges the officer to call an ambulance. But the officer recognizes him from the alert. Lucas is a wanted man. Lucas quickly draws his weapon and fires at the officer. He aims for the vest, wounding but not killing him. The officer is hurt, but his life is not in danger. Lucas then radios for help. Reporting the injured officer and woman, he provides their exact location before returning to the car to flee with Roy and Alton. Back at the schoolyard, agents hand out forms to ranch members to gather intel. Most of it about Alton. Inside, Agent Miller begins interrogating Calvin. Miller questions the true purpose behind the ranch's activities. Calvin insists they only raise livestock and farm for personal use. He denies any commercial dealings. Suddenly, Paul, an NSA agent, enters and joins the questioning. He asks Calvin about specific numbers and symbols used in his sermons. Calvin claims these are biblical references, nothing more. But Paul insists the codes match highly classified U.S. military information. He accuses Calvin of treason, alleging he passed these codes to foreign nations. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Calvin makes a confession. He says that Alton, during episodes of distress, often recites those exact codes. Alton, according to him, possesses extraordinary abilities, including fluency in multiple known and unknown languages. The ranch followers believe Alton is a divine figure. They see his abilities as signs of a messiah. Paul remains skeptical and continues to press the espionage theory. He suspects Calvin is using sermons to leak secrets. Calvin finally reveals that Alton is adopted. He confesses Roy is Alton's biological father and his current abductor. Paul assumes Roy will be easy to apprehend. But Calvin laughs and warns that capturing Alton won't be simple. He emphasizes that Alton is not an ordinary child. Meanwhile, Roy and Lucas arrive at the home of Eldon, a former ranch member. Eldon knows about Alton's powers and agrees to help. He blackens the windows to protect Alton from the sunlight, which weakens him. Alton falls asleep while the men plan their next move. Eldon and Roy study a map. Alton has insisted on reaching a specific location. They believe something monumental will happen there. Like the ranch members, Eldon and Roy fully trust Alton's visions. The next day, they see news reports showing their faces across multiple states. Suddenly, the house trembles with a small quake. They rush upstairs to find Eldon sitting in front of Alton. Alton is emitting a strange light from his eyes, and Eldon seems to be absorbing it. Roy knocks him out. Then he embraces Alton to calm him. The tremors cause the paper-covered windows to tear away. Sunlight pours in and further drains Alton's energy. Meanwhile, Paul questions other ranch staff. One member tells him Alton can cause destruction without touching anything. He can shatter windows and disable vehicles just by focusing on them. And his abilities, the man claims, are growing stronger with age. Alton, one of several children under the care of the ranch organization, has a unique condition. He sleeps during the day and stays awake at night due to his sensitivity to sunlight. A staff member explains to Agent Paul that Alton emits mysterious light beams from his eyes and has visions of unexplainable phenomena. By this point, the federal agents, including Paul, have gathered significant intel on Alton's unusual abilities. Roy takes Eldon's car to continue their journey, leaving Lucas's vehicle behind to throw off any pursuers. During the ride, Lucas is amazed when Alton accurately discusses broadcasts from radio channels in various languages. Before they're even aired, they stop at a gas station. Lucas heads inside to stock up on supplies, while Roy warns Alton not to leave the vehicle. Roy steps away to call his estranged wife, Sarah, updating her on their movements. Unexpectedly, Roy sees Alton out of the car, wearing dark glasses to shield his eyes. A passerby assumes Alton is lost, but Roy reassures her that he's his father. Alton apologizes to Roy. Just then, fragments of a satellite explode overhead. Lucas rushes them back into the car, and they flee the area. They finally arrive at Sarah's house. She is overwhelmed with emotion upon seeing her son. She notices Alton's nose bleeding, prompting Lucas to suggest a hospital visit. Roy insists they stick to the path Eldon mapped out, fearing hospital staff might alert the authorities. Simultaneously, Calvin's armed followers prepare to confront Sarah's mother, hoping to find her current address. Back at the gas station, Paul and Miller investigate the satellite crash and suspect Elton is responsible. The satellite was meant for monitoring nuclear threats, raising fears Elton could be aiding foreign adversaries. They launch a drone equipped to track Elton's energy emissions. As news of the crash spreads, Roy and Sarah decide to switch vehicles and flee again. Alton warns them that the authorities will never stop chasing him, but insists they must reach a specific destination on time. Doak and Levi arrive at Sarah's house, but it's already empty. Alton suddenly has trouble breathing. Lucas urges a hospital visit, leading to a tense argument with Roy. Alton recovers and tells them it's time to split up. The feds are closing in. He instructs Lucas to take Sarah to a nearby motel, while he and Roy continue through the forest. Roy and Alton hike through the woods and find shelter in a small cave. Alton tells Roy he wants to experience sunlight the next day, despite the risk. Roy, trusting his son completely, agrees. Meanwhile, Paul confirms that Alton's numerical messages aren't military codes, but location coordinates. He pinpoints Alton's current position. At dawn, Roy and Alton wait for sunrise in the cave. Alton sees the sun directly for the first time. The earth trembles, but Alton, no longer needing sunglasses, is unharmed. They return to reunite with Sarah and Lucas at the motel. Lucas is astonished to see Alton walking in daylight, unaffected. Alton explains he comes from another dimension, one beneath their own. He says he must return to his people, who share his abilities and are waiting for him. Before they can process this, Doak and Levi break into the room, shooting and capturing Roy and Lucas. They take Alton, but Sarah helps Roy and Lucas escape and gives chase. The roads are congested with military and police forces. Roy tries to take a shortcut, but the army redirects him. They spot Doak's vehicle. It's empty. The military has taken Alton. Roy begins to lose hope of ever seeing his son again. In a secure facility, Alton sits across from Paul and several military officials. They see him as a potential threat and begin interrogating him. Alton demands everyone leave except Paul. Surprisingly, they obey. Alton shows Paul his glowing eyes and reveals his origin. He says on March 6th, he must return to his world, and that others will come for him. Moved, Paul agrees to help. Alton, sensing Roy and Sarah nearby, instructs Paul to contact them through a public phone. Paul calls and tells Roy where to meet. They reunite and escape as planned. To make it believable, Paul hits himself to appear as though Roy assaulted him. Though intercepted by a military roadblock, they evade capture and make it to the target location. March 6th arrives. Alton steps forward as the ground rumbles beneath them. Massive, shimmering structures rise from the earth. Ethereal, translucent beings descend and welcome Alton. He returns to his true home. Though Roy is arrested, he is content. His son is finally where he belongs. Midnight Special 2016, directed by Nichols, is a gripping, slow-burn science fiction drama that blends the intensity of a chase thriller with emotional depth and spiritual mystery. The film follows a father, played by Michael Shannon, who is on the run with his supernaturally gifted son, pursued by both the government and a religious cult. What makes Midnight Special stand out is its grounded, character-driven storytelling. Nichols avoids over-explaining the fantastical elements, allowing the emotional stakes and human relationships to take center stage. With its moody atmosphere, restrained performances, and a haunting score, the film evokes the spirit of classic Spielberg while maintaining a unique, introspective tone. It's a film that trusts its audience to embrace ambiguity and feel their way through a journey. That's more about connection and belief than spectacle.